Thanks for joining today. Doing a little bit on TikTok and just a little bit of an introduction to the platform. So my name is Danielle. I'm one of the senior paid social account managers at Croud. I've been here since January. So yeah, really loving it so far. If you've got any questions about the platform, feel free to note them down or drop them in the question and answer section, and we'll come back to them at the end. First of all, why would you use TikTok? So I'm sure a lot of you by now have heard of it. It's one of the most downloaded video apps around the world at the moment. It's currently got a really young and highly engaged user base, where each person tends to open it up several times a day. And in the UK, it actually consumes about 61 minutes per day on average. Now, from the beginning of the first 3 months of this year, we've actually seen an increase by about 91% in daily active users. And that's obviously with everything going on. People are at home more, they're more active on their social. We've got a really big user base of Gen Z users, which is around 41% of the audience base, meaning they're around the 16 to 24 bracket. In the US alone, that's actually changed since the start of the year, where we've seen an increase to about 50%, where users are actually 18 to 34, so they're getting into that slightly older bracket, and it's split fairly evenly between those two age groups. So when you're looking at the app, if any of you have got it, then obviously you probably have had a look around it. You've got your home page, so there's the For You section. You can scroll through that and you get shown videos of either people you're following or people that are similar to those that you're following. You'll see your ads in here as well. And then you've got, if you can see it on the very top left here, you've got your following section. So these are the people that you just follow. So there's probably not as many in there, and they're more friends or influencers that you're following on the platform. You've then got your Discover page, and this is where you can see either popular hashtag trends, music pages, some paid sponsorships at the top as well. And then when you go into those, you've got the challenge pages where you can see the hashtag at the top. If it's a paid hashtag challenge, they don't have a description and the brands that are using them and are paid for it basically, and then all of the users' content that goes with that. You've then got the option at the bottom to click on the little video record, where you can create your own video using that hashtag. And then you've also got your music page. Again, it's got a few bits of information about that music. You can add it to your favourites on both of those as well. And then all of the user-generated content that's using that specific bit of sound. And then you can do the same thing by using the sound button at the bottom. And it then takes you into the recording section. So I just thought I'd show you a couple of the case studies from TikTok. So first one is Guess, which was based in the US. Guess wanted to create the hashtag challenge called In My Denim, and the idea was that they wanted to take users from a casual kind of look to a much more glam look of them being in their denim, whilst leveraging the content from 4 different influencers. So how they did that was they did a brand takeover and then did 4 influencer videos, and what that did is generated over 10.5 million video views. In the first day, there was actually 1,629 user-generated videos in that first day, and over the 6-day period that they ran it, there was about 5,500. From the brand takeover alone, they saw a 16.5% click-through rate and a 14.3% engagement rate, so people engaging with the brand. And they actually gained 12,000 more followers over that period, which is impressive. And then in the UK, one to note is the brand Too Faced. So they wanted to advertise their lip injection extreme lip gloss that they do. And obviously with everything going on at the moment, people are at home a lot more. So they wanted to position themselves with a really quick and snappy 5-second full screen brand takeover ad. And it immediately showcased before and after pictures of people using the product. And they wanted to get that target demographic of quite young females that would be interested in using the products. So that was really successful and created 7.6 million impressions, but also those clicks to product pages. Now with the trend, people then started making their own content, and then it drove sales in that way. They actually had an 18.38% click-through rate, which the UK average for brand takeovers is about 7%, so it is way above average. And then one I wanted to share from Asia is Maybelline. So they likened eyelashes to be like boyfriends, so they don't always want to be what you want them to be. So they positioned the mascara being like something that fixes that, and it was really relevant with the target demographic they had, and their aim was to get uplift brand awareness and also get the younger demographic to know who they are, because in Japan it's much more mature. So they generated 48,700 likes, nearly 3,000 comments, and there was actually an 80% increase in brand awareness. And then from that, there was a 47.9% uplift in favourability towards Maybelline with that younger demographic. And I just wanted to showcase something that we've done at Croud. So the Royal British Legion, so the Legion Games is something they ran for VE Day, and they did it as well in October time. And it's a way to bring together different people with gaming and streaming, and connecting people through that in a community kind of feel. So it brings together some big names and partnerships, and it was on the platform Twitch. So it's not all about fashion and beauty brands on TikTok by any means. Obviously Royal British Legion is a charity, and it worked really successfully for them. So in comparison to the Facebook campaign that we ran, we saw almost a 30% decrease in CPMs, whilst also having a 126% increase in the click-through rate. That's in comparison to the Facebook campaign. So there's a couple of different ad formats that you can get on TikTok, so you may have seen them. So the first one is brand takeover. So these are the ones that when you open the app, you're directly shown. So they're normally full screen, they're 3 to 5 seconds long, so really attention grabbing. You've got to make sure you've got your branding in there and a really strong call to action, and place any key messages up front. These can be used leveraging influencers as well, just to help grab that attention and make it applicable for your user base. You've then got the Topview format. This again is like a full screen one, and it tends to open up when you open the app. These can be up to 60 seconds. So again, it's vitally important to have that brand messaging and call to action, and get that message across to people in the first couple of seconds. As with all TikTok videos, the use of sound is really important, so make sure you've got that kind of show-stopping sound. For people, they'll always have the sound on this platform, whereas on other platforms, for example, Facebook and Instagram, you don't necessarily always have that sound on. Next, we've got the in-feed videos. So these are the videos and ads that you see within the Discover section. So they can often be have a call to action like download an app or go to a site. These are generally more direct response ads. So again, they need to be shot vertically. Sometimes they can focus in on the center, so the edges may be slightly cropped. Generally speaking, if you're using other paid social platforms, such as things like stories on Facebook or Instagram, you can often use the same content, but just bear in mind that it does sometimes crop it. Again, these need to be attention grabbing because users will swipe quickly. You've got to have that messaging straight away. And also, like, using influencers is one of the best ways to approach these, because they'll grab the attention of your audience base. These are also really easy to set up, and they can be done straight within the business center in your ad account, which I'll go through shortly. If anyone does have any questions, obviously just pop them in the chat box and we can go through them at the end. Something else which is really cool and is unique to TikTok. So it's something called a branded hashtag. So this is one of two parts. So the bit that you see on the left here in the image is the hashtag challenge. So the example which is best to show for this is the Aladdin preview. So Mina Masood, he helped the brand when the film came out of the cinema, to design a challenge called Friend Like Me. So the page had a bit of information. You can see that it's got the brand that's attached to it, and it was getting users to do a doable challenge video. So this one in particular was the dance, so it's the genie dance, which is cool. So the branded hashtag is made up of this main page, where you can see all the other user content, but then you can also have the official video, which in this case was with Mina Masood. Idea is to create between 3 and 6 videos, either with the same influencer or different ones. They can be a maximum up to 15 seconds, and they're meant to be instructional so that people can see what they have to do. One of the great things about these is these can go viral and obviously then go organic. They need to be genuine, and they're less likely to seem like an ad. But obviously their main aim of this ad campaign is to get people to go to the cinema and see the Aladdin movie. Now these do vary in price as well, depending on market, and they're a lot more expensive than doing the in-feed ads, because obviously it's a collaboration with TikTok itself. So yeah, just keen to bear in mind. And then the last type of ad that you can do on TikTok is something called branded effects. Again, I've seen these mainly like in feed. You can incorporate them into a wider campaign, either on TikTok with like the branded hashtags, or the hashtag challenges, sorry. But then you can also cross that over different channels. So if there's a Snapchat or an Instagram effect that you want it to use, it can be put across multiple channels. And again, when you're advertising it and trying to showcase it and get people to use it, it's really important that you could potentially use influencers or creators to try and share that. So the next couple of slides, I'm just going to take you through a very basic overview of campaign setup, and then we'll delve into the actual platform itself so that you can see how it looks. So with objectives, it's very similar in terms of what you'd see on something like Facebook ads. So you've got different objectives for awareness, consideration and conversion. So you can go through a reach, traffic, app install, video views, conversions and catalogue sales. For the standard ones that come up without any pixel information or anything like that sorted, you can do traffic, conversions and app installs. So you notice I probably mentioned pixels. So again, with the TikTok ads pixel, it's very similar setup in terms of what you can do with Facebook. So you can either do it manually yourself using a third-party tool like Google Tag Manager, or if you've got a shop on Shopify, you can also use that to set it up. There's quite a few templated events, again, similar to Facebook. So you can do things like sales, lead forms, downloads, custom events. Some of these are in beta, so you might not be able to do all of them, but then there's also the opportunity to do the custom events, so you can track really granular levels of goals on your website or your app. Again, targeting, we'll go into this when I'm on platform for you, because there's quite a few bits that you can do. But you can set audiences based off pixel, customer files, or engagement with previous ads. You can exclude those as well. There's then demographic targeting. We'll look at the interest based on platform in a second, and then looking at different devices as well. One quite cool thing that you can do on TikTok ads is when you've been running a campaign, you can look at the different interests or audience definitions and how they've worked by day or hour even, which is something that's really useful for optimization. And then you've got your different bid types again. So if your main priority is a cost control, then I'd recommend using standard bid. Again, if it's the first time using TikTok ads, then I'd probably recommend testing that first. Max conversions, you don't put a bid on one of these options, which means the daily spend is more stable, but the cost per result may fluctuate. And then with your max conversion, where you've got a bid, you might get a higher cost per result, but the budget will be between like 2 areas. And then we've got different placements. So I can show you these in platform as well. The main ones are obviously TikTok and Topbuzz. Topbuzz is like things like all the products owned by BuzzFeed, and these are the ones that you can get across Europe and the US mainly. And then you've got some other ones that are more specific to the APAC markets. And depending on your audience, depends on where you want to promote those. And then I'm going to take you into platform quickly to show you some of the things that you can do. Oops. So personally for me, I feel like the dashboard area is much more visually creative to look at. So you can break down all your ad campaigns and see them in a much more visual way. You can see a little breakdown of your campaigns, and then you can see demographic details here. And you can change these by cost, impressions, whichever metric that you're keen to look at. You've then got placements if you've got multiple ones switched on, and then your operating systems and day parting, which is cool. So you can see when your ads cost you the most, which times of day, when they got the highest click-through rates, lowest CPAs, things like that. When you go into making a campaign, if you're used to Facebook ads, again, it will look fairly similar. So you can see on the top left here, you've got campaign, ad group, and ad. So we don't have any ads in here currently, so I'm just going to take you through the step-by-step process on how you do that. Again, if you're used to other paid social platforms like Facebook, etc., you'll probably be fairly used to this. So at your campaign level, you've got your advertising objectives. So the main three that always come up are traffic, app installs, and conversion. I'm going to go for traffic on this one. You can then set your campaign name as you do normally. There's limited split testing available as well, and then you can set budgets here if need be. Then go into your ad group, which is again similar to Facebook in the sense this is where you set all your settings for your ad, like targeting and placements. So again, you've got automated placements, or you can do select for specific ones. So if you're just targeting users in the UK, then you'd probably stick to TikTok, maybe do the newsfeed app series as well, which covers the BuzzFeed platforms, but the rest are different markets. You then got your ad details, whether you're going to a website or an app install, putting your URL there, name of the ad, image that you want to appear for your profile details, and then category, so you can decide which category your ad fits into here. So for example, if you were doing cosmetics, for example, skincare, let's do skincare here. You could then add in tags like beauty. These don't come up with options, you just hit enter and they save it there, and it helps you to find match your ads to your audience. You've then got the option to use automated creative, but generally speaking, you'd upload your videos and things like that at the next level. You've then got your audiences, so this is where you can add in pixel-based or CRM-based audiences or exclude them. So if you wanted to do a bit of prospecting, you wouldn't want to include necessarily people that have been to the site. Likewise, if you're doing remarketing, you just include site visitors. You then got all your demographic details, and then comes to the interest category. So this is where you can choose what kind of interest your ad is going to be based to. So if you're doing an app, you could do different sections here. If it's a social ad, it's a little bit restricted in terms of what you can select. Obviously on Facebook, you can type in things like different companies or broader aspects, whereas this is a more generalized approach to interest. And then you've got your budgets down here, and you can select day parting if you wish to do that. Your bidding and optimization sections here. And then the type of delivery. So generally speaking, you'd probably use standard. Accelerators, when it will spend it as obviously quickly as possible. Oops. Put in some of these items to get started. And then I can show you the video section. Oops. And then you'd go into the ad format area, so you can either upload a single video or a single image. Again, if you're running other campaigns on a different platform via stories, you can try using those videos. Like I said, just bear in mind in case it crops it slightly, because it will focus on the center. Yeah, that's the kind of basics of setting up your campaign. It is fairly easy and intuitive to use. So I'm going to open up the floor to any questions now that you guys may have. Do you think TikTok user levels will decrease once markets emerge from lockdown? I think it's fair to say that that will happen. Obviously, depending on when that goes through. Obviously, it varies by market as well, and because it is quite a young user base, obviously, those that are students potentially up to university level, they might not be going back until later on in the year. But for that older demographic that's joined recently, then potentially yes. Yeah, definitely. If you guys do get any other questions at a later date, feel free to drop me an email and I can always respond on there. There's lots of learnings to take from TikTok. It's still fairly new in the UK for ads. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. And if you're doing a brand awareness piece, or you want even direct response to get brand uplift or products out there to people, then it's definitely worth considering. The CPMs are much lower than they are on other social networks too. Is it difficult to explain to clients the benefits of TikTok? Are they anxious about using it? I think because it's new, then yes, it can make clients anxious sometimes. Again, it's one of those platforms that are great for brand awareness and getting that name or product out there. And there's lots of benefits to using it. I mean, TikTok themselves have a lot of case studies online. So I think it's fairly easy to explain the benefits in terms of building up that brand awareness or favorability. But yeah, it depends on the purpose of the ad campaign. But if it's something to do with getting that brand awareness out there, then it's definitely worthwhile, and if that demographic fits the client base. So yeah. Okay, I don't think we've got any more questions. Like I say, if you do get any, feel free to drop me an email and I will answer them as best as I can.